you've got one of these great old iPod 5th, 6th, 7th generation, and you want to bring it back to life. As you can see, I've finally done with mine. And you've watched a bunch of videos about changing the battery, which pretty much is what they're all going to need. And every single one of them, man, the iPods, they are in, I mean, there's no scratches on the screen, unlike mine. This has been mine. I've had it like, from when they were brand new, so like 20 years or so. There's no scratches on the back. The thing is pristine. And in all these videos, they pry it open, and they take out the little battery cable. It opens like a book, and everything goes fine. This video is for when it doesn't, and your disk drive sticks to the back, and it's not supposed to. It's supposed to stay in the body here. So cables will get pulled loose, and the battery's all expanded and it breaks another cable. Don't panic. Parts are available. These things are really rugged. They don't appear to be static sensitive. So this video is for what to do when it doesn't go perfect when you open it up. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, if you watch all the and there's a gazillion of them since these things have been out so long, all the other videos on how to change this battery, like I said, everybody's is perfect. and every single one, it just follows the same process. Mine did not. And so here is the switch, and I'll show you why I needed that. And here's the battery. So this is already pried open. I wasn't going to go through the nonsense of putting it all back together for the video. And there's a gazillion videos on opening these, but basically probably the easiest thing to do is if you get in between the connector and this top edge here, and you kind of pry it out here a little bit, and then you can start to go around and start to pry it open. And once you can get to a corner, you can kind of like just, get this apart by hand. Okay, so what is supposed to happen when you get the cover loose all the way around is you're supposed to pick it up and move it just a little bit. Now, there's the battery cable there. Again, I wasn't going to go through the putting it back in just to take it back out. But the little connector is right there. So the procedure is, and the disc, here's your hard disk here, and it's supposed to stay here. Well, what happened, and again, you open it up and you kind of tilt it like that. Just a teensy bit, just so you can see the battery cable, and you kind of, you can either pry it out or use some needle nose or something and get it out. And then you're supposed to lay it down and open it like a book, in which the battery would actually still be right here. And then all this stuff stays in place. Well, that is not what happened. My hard disk was stuck to the back. And it's as soon as I went to open this like a book per se, it pulled, it pulled the cable with the disc stuck to the back. It pulled the disc cable out of the connector on the card here. So I'm going to kind of put this under the light and zoom in. So normally the disc again would stay like you see it here, and you can see by that foam how that was stuck there. And then you're just supposed to flip this like this, all right, and the, I'm just going to pull that out of the way for the moment here. I'll lift this up to the camera. All right, so what happened is, with the disc stuck to the back, it ripped the cable out of this little connector here. So should that happen to you, there is a little, you can see right there at the tip of my finger, that's a little latch that holds the cable down. So if it rips out, you will hit that. This thing will be flipped up, and so to put it in, you got to make sure that little thing flap is up. Feed the cable back this way, and then push it back down. So yeah, in everybody's video, man, this thing is, this piece of foam is perfect. It's like, no, didn't happen for me. And again, don't bang this around since that is your hard disk. So then the other collateral damage that happened, let me work the little loose piece back into place. I'm kind of giving away what happened here. All right, so here's your battery, and it is stuck in with glue, and you can see this is all swelled up. I'm going to flip that disk drive back. All right, you can see that battery is just, it's bulging. And anyhow, despite my best efforts of care and caution, so what you want to do is, I've got a very thin butter. This is the butter knife my mom used to do our dad and our sandwiches in the morning for him to go to work and us kids to go to school. And so I kind of don't want to use it for this, but it's just ideal. All right, so what you do is you carefully get underneath that battery, all right, and you work it up and you work it up, and then it gets to the point you start to lift it up. Well, what happened is, see this this little fragment right there? That was stuck to the battery. So this cable that goes from your hold switch along and down to the main board, blam, it's like, okay, I guess let me make sure that's available. So anyhow, there is that switch. So first thing we're going to do is change that switch, and then we'll also do a compare. I'm going to read the voltage on this battery as well. It is supposed to be just like the Samsung 3.7 volts seems to be the voltage these things run on, which I think might be the nominal. I think charged is probably going to be higher. But anyhow, let me get my screwdriver to get the switch out. All right, I'm going to try and catch this here. This is not the easiest thing. The little trace that's all the way, if you got the battery this way, all the way to the left. So let's see. Find a place where I can push down on this. All right, I'm going to get I know my hand's in the way. All right, so I'm catching the end, little trace there, and all right, 3.9 volts. If you kind of follow it, you'll see that it's like skip one and it's one over to the right. So 3.9 volts, that battery is charged. Now let's see about getting the switch out of here and getting this all back together. I am super excited because This thing hasn't worked in 10 years. Okay, so with the disc flipped out of the way, we're going to have to undo this little connector. And this is what I was talking about. And hopefully that will show. All right, this has got a little latch on it. We're going to flip up. So I hope you saw that. I'll move it back and forth. All right, so there you can see that moving around. All right, so, and then we can pull the cable out. Yay! All right, now we're going to, let's see. Let's see if we can scrape this off. All right, anyhow, we gotta scrape this off anyhow. All right, let's get this off. All right, so there's that. All right, undone. Now, if you don't break your switch, if this cable doesn't break, you don't have to do this. But I'm just showing this because Murphy's Law is based on my life. So let's see, we got a little screw right there. Can we see that? All right. So we get this little guy out, and all right, and there's a screw here, and there's a screw here, which I'm not sure. Yeah, I imagine that one has to come out too. Let's see. So I'm going to take these screws out and need a nice little place to put them. You know, you drop those, you're never finding them again. All right, so let me get this all undone. Oop, yeah, there's that one there. Let's get rid of that annoying little piece of debris. All right, so there's that. Now, normally that wouldn't just, come out like that. It would still be attached to the cable. But if the cable didn't break, you wouldn't be in here doing this anyhow, unless you just plain old needed to change that switch. So I'm going to push these little screws out. So I have those. There's that, and I've got all of those out. This is all loose. The jack looks like it just kind of goes in there. So yeah, yay. All of that is out. Now, let me see. I might go ahead and clean this up a little bit off camera, and then we'll put this back together. All right, I cleaned this, as much as I cared to. I wasn't going to get crazy with it. I wasn't worried about getting that old tape out of there either. So speaking of tape, go ahead and cut a few. I got one stuck over here that's going to go there. And then I got another piece stuck here at the ready that's going to go over there. So I debated back and forth as to whether to put that cable in first or put these pieces in first. And when the things were built, they would have had this in first. So let's see. There's a little pad for that to rest on. Yeah. All right. So, all right, that all lines up. So let's grab a screw here. Are we still in frame? Yeah. Now you're probably not going to see anything but the back of my hand, but let's see what happens. right, just kind of locate them. Yeah, okay, so that's going in. You know, don't crank them down until and try to, you know, work over your don't go way off out of the way with your screw. And then, like I said, you lose these, you're never getting them back. I think maybe those are both black screws. Trying to keep the all metal screw wherever I've got metal. And the other one, let's see now. Make sure that's going to go in. There we go. All right. Yay, 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 yay. So, you know, don't force anything. I'm trying to get that screw on the end here. All right, let's see. Is that threading in? All right, so let me finish this up off camera. You know, struggle at your own will with these cables or with these screws, and we'll come back. All right, well, putting the screws in wasn't too bad, but you just never know how long that's going to take. Can we see in there and stay in focus? So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, the steel screw is going to go there for grounding purposes, and then the others are all on plastic. So I use the black ones there. So while I'm somewhat in focus and close, I wanted to point out, see that white line there, and you're going to see white lines here. Those look like those are the guides for 90-degree bends. And actually, I'm glad I left that tape in there because it's giving me a reference. So I put a little bit of a bend in there. And now I'm going to take this piece of tape, I'm going to set this down and put... all right, so... Gonna get this piece of tape and then hook it on a screwdriver so I can kind of feed it in there without having my hand in there. So if you can see, there's the curve from the from the old piece there. All right, so put that down in there, and there's that. And then we've got this little piece here. There's a ground on that, so it's probably for noise and such, for the for shielding for the audio. All right, so we got all that in there. We've got a switch that does indeed move back and forth. We've got an audio jack. Yay. I think, just no one was happy the day they started taking those audio jacks out. I'm gonna put a few kind of not just kind of pre-bend at those white lines there, but don't get like crazy on it, just to kind of massage this, put some memory in that cable. And I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, so do your best to get that to feed flat in there, and then I got this thing so high up in the air I can't tell. I had to pick a point where this thing would sort of stay in focus, but there's that little cable clamp flap I was talking about. So just making sure that's all the way in, and it's going to kind of pull the cable in a little bit. So, all right. So I think that's a good sign if it clamps down all happy without any force. And kind of get this back to what seems to be probably where it was to start with. All right. So kind of squishy whoosh that into place. All right. And yeah, remember the battery? So just to compare, let's see. There's the original one. You can see that bulge in there. And here's a new one, and it's got an adhesive strip here. So yeah, that's been sitting. It was sitting in my old van for like, I don't know, like 10 years. It had just baking away and everything else. So I'm sure that contributed to the situation here. So let's see. We're going to pull that adhesive off. There is a bit of a size difference that I hope is not an issue. The newer battery is a little bit longer, but it also might be that the old battery, when it swelled this way, it shrunk this way. So anyhow, I've already pulled the adhesive off the back. And on the switch here, I'll show you on the original, this little guy here, you see it's bent up. It touches on the end of the battery. And so on your new switch, it is still laid out horizontal. So we're gonna carefully debating whether to do this by hand or, all right, want to hold on that and kind of bend that up a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to scooch. Probably has to go all the way this way to make sure it clears the disc here. You know what? I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to attempt to do this. And I'm sorry, but... All right, there we go. Should get like a positive clunk on it. And turn this hold switch off. And oh, look at that. You see that? Yay. We've got an Apple screen. A happy Apple. A happy Mac, not a sad Mac. So let's see if it boots up all the way. I can hear the disc banging around in there. Yay! Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, and it works. Music. Wow. All right, playlists. Oh, yay, they are all here. I only play that for a second so we don't get copyrighted, but yay, look at that. Okay, and so the other thing I'll be doing after I successfully, mind you, click this all back together is need to make sure it charges. Okay, so now for the big test. You've pushed it all together and it, it still works after putting it together, and you want to make sure the most important thing is that it charges. All right, so here we go, the big test. see. You can see I got carried away listening to this, and I have really worn the battery down. So the big test, will it charge? And it looks like, I haven't ran this in so long I can't remember, but the battery did just jump up. So I think it's charging. Yeah, because it changed to green. I thought this used to put the little lightning bolt in there, but I haven't. This thing's been dead for 10 years. So anyhow, that looks like it is indeed charging. The level jumped up and it turned green, and there we go. Some Johnny Cash. All right, so yay, there you go. It works. Functions as designed. All right, so as you saw, I kind of needed to be reschooled myself. I'm hooked up and charging here, and as you just saw, um, if you're used to seeing the little lightning bolt, which I had gotten so used to on everything, for the last however many years, when it's when it's charging, you get the little lightning bolt up in the battery. Well, I forgot. These will, when the battery gets low on this, it like turns from green to gray, and when you hook it up to the charger, the battery just turns green. And I had to sit there and think about it for a minute, but I saw that the level had jumped up, so knew that, and turned green. So it's like, yeah, and it's been climbing. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video on how to repair one of these iPods when disaster strikes, when you open it up and the disc is stuck to the back cover and it rips out other cables, and you go to take out the battery and it's stuck to the little hold switch cable and it breaks it. If you enjoyed this, found it useful, helpful, entertaining, any or all of the above, go ahead and, press your clicky wheel down on your like and subscribe button. Please comment and share, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.